What the fuck is up? My name is Nick. I'm from Laugh and Grow Fat Reviews. I am Laugh and Grow Fat. And EA's E3 press conference was yesterday at their EA Play event that they do. Well, they started last year, and they did it again this year. And it was just as disappointing as it was last year, but we'll get to that. First, I want to recap what exactly the fuck happened at this event during this conference. It opened with a football marching band. And then they talked about Madden 18. It's got a new story mode called Long Shot. Andrew Wilson went up on stage. Then they talked about Battlefield 1 DLC. It's called In the Name of the Czar. FIFA 18 competitive. And then they also talked about story mode in that. We saw story mode in it last year. And this is continuing off of last year's story mode with the same character. Then Jesse Wellens showed up. Never heard of him before, but he was super fucking awkward. Need for Speed Payback. They talked about that. Of course, that was announced like a couple weeks ago or something, maybe a week ago. A few things to note about that. They said that it was going to have an open world story mode. You're going to play as 3 different drivers throughout that story mode. And then they showed some gameplay of it. It was interesting, but we'll get to that in a second. Then they showed a game called A Way Out. That's 3 words, A Way Out. It's a new co-op game centered around co-op play made by the people who made Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons. Then they talked about some new program called Seed. I have no idea what the fuck it is. He didn't really explain what it is at all. He just talked that a new emerging technology is going to change the way we play games. But that was it. Then they had a teaser for Anthem, a new game by BioWare. It explains what they were doing instead of working on Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, shit!
And then they talked about NBA Live 18, a series I thought was done, that we wouldn't see again, but looks like that they're bringing it back. And they showed off a little bit of gameplay, just a very, very small bit of gameplay that was live, or quote-unquote live. And then they showed a bunch of trailers for it. They talked about the single-player mode. It's called The One. No, it is not a story mode, or at least it seemingly isn't a story mode like the one that you're going to find in FIFA or in Madden. It's just some kind of single-player mode where you get to play in a lot of different environments, on a court, in someone's fucking backyard, I don't know. And then, of course, they finished it off with Battlefront 2. Really, most of Battlefront 2 was just gameplay, which is interesting. But they did talk about a few things, and they showed off an entire live multiplayer match. Again, I'm going to get to my thoughts on that in a second, but one thing to note, something that at least I think was the only thing that was interesting information, and as well as new information, something that we didn't know about. We've known about the single-player campaign, we've known about all that jazz for a while, but they said that all of the content that's going to be released later on, after the game is released, is going to be free. So new maps, new heroes to play as, new guns to use. They said that all of that is going to be free. Whether or not that's true, or whether or not they didn't specify on something, they're like, oh yeah, it's all going to be free. I mean, except for this one thing that's definitely not going to be free. You know, I have no idea. But we'll see. Only time will tell. So now I want to talk about my thoughts on this conference. Frankly, it was fucking stupid. It's just as fucking stupid as last year's EA Play conference. They didn't do much. They didn't talk about much of importance. And in fact, during part of it, when they talked about Anthem, and I'll get to my thoughts on that in a second, they said, watch out for Microsoft's press conference, because that's where we're actually going to talk about it. So they didn't even talk about the game at their conference, which is a little odd for me. But, of course, Football Marching Band, super fucking weird. It weirded me out. And this is coming from someone who was in marching band, specifically the drum line. I played the tenor. It was weird. I don't know why they opened with a football marching band. That's super weird. But Madden 18, I can't be surprised that they're adding a story mode in. Frankly, I'm surprised that it took them this long to add a story mode in with cutscenes and voice acting and an actual story with an actual character that you can connect with. it just seems to me like they're acting like it's a little bit more important than it actually is. The reality of the situation is that it's something that should have been in there, and it's not a surprise that they're adding it. And also FIFA has had it, so just taking some cues from the FIFA team, I suppose. Then of course Battlefield 1, not a huge fan of Battlefield 1, so I'm not super psyched for the DLC, but the problem is that they really didn't show off a whole lot of the DLC. They showed some screenshots. They said, oh, you're gonna get to play a few of the maps from it in a little bit, and really again, just stuff that, are you surprised that they showed off Battlefield 1 DLC? I think they've come out with one expansion for that game since the game came out. So, or, maybe two. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The point is that it's not a surprise that that's what they're going to talk about. I'm just surprised that they didn't talk about it more. They really acted as if, oh, it's super secret, under the wraps, guys. And it's like, it's a fucking DLC. Come on. FIFA 18, never been a huge FIFA fan, so again, really didn't apply to me, but they talked about the competitive scene. Again, I really don't care about the competitive FIFA scene. I'm not sure how many people do. I don't know, maybe a whole ton of people do. Maybe it's super important to them, but the new story mode, if you played the last FIFA 17, had the new story mode in there. They're bringing it back, the same character and everything like that. That I think is pretty cool. Just because I've always thought that it's a cool idea to add a fully voiced with cutscenes, just like you'd find in any other regular story-driven game, a story mode like that in a sports game. Why does it always have to be so bare bones? And so I think that that's cool, and I'm glad that they're bringing it back. But again, it's not a surprise because they pushed it really hard last year. This is hilarious. So this Jesse Wellens guy, again, I don't know him. I'm sure he's cool. Maybe he's cool. I don't know. I have never seen any of his videos, but apparently he says he's a YouTuber. So I'm going to believe him there. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. So he gets up there, he starts to talk, and then I don't know if he just forgot what he was going to say, or there, maybe he had a teleprompter and there was something wrong with it or something, but there was a super fucking awkward. I'm going to play a clip of that.
What up, guys? Thank you for having me, EA. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Jesse Wellens, and I am a YouTube creator. So I am here to talk about Need for Speed Payback. If you guys didn't know, Need for Speed Payback, yeah, it's a great game. But all right, all set aside, I'm a YouTube creator. Need for Speed Payback, it's coming out. I got my boy Marcus, executive producer here. He is the producer of the game. Thank you, Nick, for having me.
Hey man, thanks Jesse. Obviously we're really excited to...
Of course, they talked about Need for Speed Payback, and I knew Need for Speed Payback, excuse me. I knew Need for Speed Payback was going to be at this, but one thing that I think is lame is that it really does seem like they're not improving on anything that they did with the last Need for Speed. Instead, they're just going, oh, well, fuck, that game bombed super badly. We made a lot of really dumb decisions with that one, so let's totally do something different instead of building on what we spent those 2 years doing, because for those of you who don't know, Need for Speed took a break. It used to be released annually. For a long time, this has been an annual franchise, and a lot of people don't even fucking know or care, because these Need for Speed games have been so all over the place. Some of them are made by Criterion, the people who made Burnout. Some of them have been made by, I can't remember what that studio's name is, but the people that make Project Cars now, and then a Ghost, which is the team that is making this one, that made the last one, and that usually makes Need for Speed. But it's just like, why did you spend those 2 years, that time off, you took that break to make this game if you're just going to ditch everything about it? It really seems weird. I don't necessarily dislike the direction they're going. I think open world is cool, although it's definitely not even close to the first open world Need for Speed that we've seen. They also talked about customization a little bit, but they didn't show any of that. The whole 3-driver thing came into play with that gameplay section, because for one part of it, the driver was going, chasing this semi that had a car that they were trying to steal, take back. I don't know what they were doing, but and then a girl got out of the car and jumped on top of the semi, and then she climbed inside of the semi and got inside the car and then drove it out, and then it switched characters, and so now you're playing as the woman who was driving the car that she took from the semi, and that I think is pretty cool. It's dynamic. It's something that I think Need for Speed really needs, is something that is dynamics. But other than that, it really just looked like Need for Speed. And the one thing that threw me off is how many fucking takedowns there were. It was fucking weird. It looked like a Burnout game. But it's not being made by Criterion. Then they talked about A Way Out. Again, 3 words, A Way Out, which is that co-op game made by the people that made Brothers. Now, the interesting thing about this is that this was the best part of the fucking presentation. This game looks fucking awesome. I'm super psyched for this game. And the fact that he said that it's meant to be played split screen, I love that. Now, don't get me wrong. There are certain times when I think that should be the case, times that shouldn't be the case. I never think that multiplayer should only be split screen or only be online. I think it should be both. Luckily, he did say that the game can be played online co-op with your buddy, but the best way to experience it is on a couch split screen. And that, I think, is the smartest way to do it, because that makes me go, you know what? In the event that I'm still going to pick it up, because in the event that I can't play it split screen with a buddy, I can still play it online with that buddy. But I'm going to attempt to play this split screen with someone, because you said that that's the best way to play it. And it really does look interesting. Basically, the screen is split, and while one person is doing something, the other person is doing something else, but they took it to a whole new level where, say, for instance, one character might be in the middle of a fucking cutscene, and the other player can control the character. They showed a little bit of this off. Well, the first player is in that cutscene, and that, to me, is fucking cool. You can handle situations in different ways depending on what characters do what. And it looks awesome. It looks fucking awesome. It was, like I said, the best part of the presentation. Then they talked about Seed. He did nothing to explain what the fuck this is or why I should be worried or concerned about it. And then they showed off that trailer the teaser trailer for Anthem. I guess I can't really say too much about it. We won't know until Microsoft's press conference. Which at the time of recording this, is a little bit later today. So, because I'm a little bit late to this party, alright? So, fuck me, I'm sorry. So, NBA Live 18, again, I don't really care. I don't know who cares, because NBA 2K is definitely not going anywhere. And NBA Live isn't going to give it a run for its money, I fucking guarantee it. Never has. And then, everything that goes along with that. That single-player mode or whatever, it looks fucking generic as shit. It looks like every other single-player mode, which is why I'm more interested in a story mode with full voice acting and cutscenes. But I digress. Then, of course, Battlefront 2. I'm excited for this Battlefront 2. I'm not picking it up when it comes out. I don't fucking care what happens, because I am not going to get burned like with Battlefront 1. Like, it's not going to fucking happen again. I'm going to wait until it comes out. I'm going to see what everyone says about it. I own the original Battlefront. I played the original Battlefront. I played all the DLC for the original Battlefront, and I can thoroughly say that I'm fucking disappointed as shit. And that has nothing to do with the fact that there aren't enough maps or something like that. It has everything to do with the fact that they acted as if, well, the only thing you want to do is play online multiplayer. And I'm like, but not necessarily. What if I want to play offline? Why can't I play these maps with bots? There is a fucking bot mode in Star Wars Battlefront, and you can't use any of the DLC maps in that bot mode. It makes no fucking sense to me. The survival mode was tacked on and everything like that as well. And so that's what I'm concerned about. Single player campaign looks cool, whatever. The fact that they said space battles are going to be more relevant, that's cool. They said you can do split screen. That doesn't mean anything, because the original Battlefront has shitty split screen as well, in the form of that fucking survival mode that takes an hour and a half to get through. And so, what I'm concerned about has nothing to do with anything that they showed. All the stuff that they showed and talked about is cool, and all the free content, that's cool too, definitely. But I'm concerned about seeing stuff like bots, like offline bots, because that's a huge part of Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox. So, and PC, of course. And so I just am concerned that they're not talking about these things because it's not something that they're focusing on. But I don't know. Who knows? Nobody knows. They know. But the multiplayer match is cool. If anything, out of this entire conference, you could skip the whole fucking thing and you would be missing literally nothing. The only things that I recommend watching is that if you're a Need for Speed fan, watch the 1.5 minute or whatever gameplay of Need for Speed Payback. You should definitely watch the part of the trailer and the gameplay part of the A Way Out. If you played Star Wars Battlefront 1, whether you liked it or not, I think that you should definitely watch the multiplayer match, just because it looks a lot more chaotic, a lot more hectic than Battlefront 1 is. And so I think it looks a little bit more interesting. But other than that, you could skip the entire fucking thing and you wouldn't be missing anything. As per usual, because let's be honest, EA has never really delivered on this kind of stuff. So, my name is Nick from Laughing Girl Frat Reviews. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of the conferences as well. We've got Microsoft's, Sony's, Nintendo's, Ubisoft's. Nintendo isn't doing an actual conference, but whatever. I'll still, cover it and everything like that. Sorry that this is like super bare bones, mostly unedited bullshit. But, getting these videos out as fast as I can, it means that not putting a whole lot of time into post. So, yeah, if you fucking like the video, you can go ahead and like it. I don't fucking care, because it's not like it's going to do anything. I'm sure everyone's been wondering where I've been. I'll cover that fucking later, alright? Now is not the time. Yeah, so, this has been Laughing Girl Frat Reviews. Make sure you laugh a lot, eat a lot, have fun doing it, and you'll fucking see me in the next one, which is going to be later today. So, have a fucking good one until then.